What's one of the dumbest things you've ever spent money on? Chef Boyardee beefaroni. One summer, because I was hella bored, I bought some Chef Boyardee beefaroni and put it in my friend's mailbox as a prank. He didn't find it, but his parents did, and they asked their neighbors who did it. He suspected me at first, but I managed to get him off of my tail. Now our neighborhoods were fairly close to each other, so I could be over there in a 50-minute walk. Every night, I walked up to their neighborhood. Walking anywhere at 2 am is creepy as hell, but the Boyardee bandit does not stop for demons and put a can of beefaroni inside their mailbox. After about a month, they call the police to find out who's putting beefaroni in their mailbox. Luckily the police really didn't care that much and just told them to get a camera, which they eventually did. Meanwhile my friend is telling me all of this from his perspective. Right. So I usually know what they do before I strike. So I start covering my face and pretend to hunch over. I have no idea where this camera is, so I can never be too careful. They call the cops again and give them a profile. And now the cops are looking for a crippled beefaroni bandit. After a solid 3 months of this crap, one of the baggers at the store gets word somehow and starts getting suspicious because he sees me buying tons of beefaroni. He confronts me. I tell him the truth, and I crap you not, he starts helping me beefaroni my friend's house. We're putting it all over, hiding it in the lawns, porch, fence, you name it. Halloween rolls around, and I dress up as Chef Boyardee. I go to my friend's house and say, your daily subscription to Chef Boyardee beefaroni has ended. Would you like to renew? I hear laughter in the background, and it's the store clerk. Turns out he recently started dating best friend's sister, and that's how he heard. Truth be told, I don't think I've ever been punched harder than when my friend found out. Good times. We still laugh about it from time to time. TLDR. Bought and hid Chef Boyardee beefaroni for nearly half a year around my best friend's house. The beefaroni bandit strikes again. When I was like 14, I bought a pack of intentionally mismatched socks that were really expensive. Like, only one of each pattern. Could have bought twice as many normal socks and just mismatched them myself. When I went on a school field trip to Washington DC back in middle school, I bought a $2 bill at a souvenir shop for $20. SMH. I bought a timeshare. I was wasted and bought Monster Ballads off an infomercial, and I paid an extra $20 for rush delivery because I was wasted and needed it ASAP, and it showed up a month later. A copy of Cory in the House for the Nintendo DS, except FO $30 in 2019. Edit, math gang antics involved. I was just a few weeks out of basic training and bought one of those family lineage with the shields on it and description. I blew $500 or so bucks just to find out it wasn't even accurate. I spent $40 one of those amusement park booths where you had to throw darts at balloons. For some reason, I picked out this really ugly 7 feet tall frog stuffed animal. It's in the corner of my closet and still scares me when I'm half awake in the morning. I once went to a novelty/thrift shop that had a ton of random crap. Ended up spending $10 on a framed picture of Count Dooku, Darth Sidious and Jango Fett from Star Wars, since my GF thought it was funny. The frame recently broke, and I found out after seeing the back of the picture it was from a calendar when Attack of the Clones came out. Someone just cut this picture out of an old calendar, put it in a frame, and my dumbass voluntarily spent $10 on it. I had a few drinks, TGIF, and wandered into a Williams-Sonoma store in a state of euphoria. There I saw a special edition KitchenAid stand mixer made in bronze that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. It was on sale for $999. Naturally, I bought it, but because I'm a single guy who doesn't bake, it's just taking up much needed counter space. A pocket pussy. It was back when me and my wife were still dating. We were out of town for a concert, a festival, or maybe just the weekend, and there was this big, heavily advertised and kinda posh adult shop just a block or two down the road from a hotel. The last day of our trip, we didn't have anything planned, so we ended up going into this shop. They had a whole floor devoted to toys and vibrators, and my wife found one she really liked. I started joking around about how they have all these toys for women and nothing for guys, and one of the shop employees overheard. He brought us up to the 3rd floor and showed us this large ice section that was all frick toys. It was like 4 whole rows, each one 20 foot long, packed to the brim with silicone pussy. They had feet with pussies, hands with pussies, tits with and without pussies, headless and limbless torsos, mouths of all variety, and a whole line of head to toe, life-size frick dolls. Most of it was really expensive, but I managed to find this one that had a glove attached to a pussy and asshole for like $40. So I bought it. We paid for our purchases and went back to the hotel to have fun. My wife really liked her toy, and after a while she asked if I wanted to use mine. I thought about it for just a second and then said no. We had our fun, packed up the next morning and left. I stuck the pocket pussy on our coffee table to mess with some friends who were coming over the next day. After the friends left, it ended up in the back of our closet and stayed there through a move in more than a decade, until my 6-year-old found it last November. The blanket that makes you look like a giant burrito. It was super thin and of poor quality, not to mention not big enough to cover me. Now I'll never look like a burrito. There was this guy named Don Lapper who sold money making kits, like how to make money with classified ads. I think I invested about $350 and received literally nothing of value. I was young and being stupid. Looked him up tonight to remember how to spell his name. Turns out he killed himself with a razor blade while in jail in 2011. I was pretty high one night and bought a pull net handle, one of the 16-foot metal ones, in order to turn off the living room lights from the couch. Edit, added these as a comment, but it got buried. Sorry, I've been sleeping, haha. I'll try and answer all the questions I've seen. Most importantly, it does work. It's heavy when fully extended, but there's a rail I can balance it on between me and the light. Takes a bit of practice. I also do remember thinking about getting smart lights, but honestly I'm renting this house and it's a wall switch, so I didn't want to take it apart to make it smart. For $25. I can't say I regret this one. It sits behind my couch in a little gap, so it's not too much of an eyesore. I haven't broken anything yet. Emphasis on yet. I'm sure I will. No, I don't have a pool. Edit 3. I didn't buy smart bulbs, and won't in the future, because it's 10 bulbs on racks. Cheap, easy, and I was high. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I bought a pager. The clip snapped. I took it to where I bought it. We only cover the pager, not the case. I walked outside right in front of the window and spiked the crap out. 8F it. Walked back inside and said my pager is broken. A 155 pack of condoms. A week after I had a vasectomy. Complete brain dead moment. I was 11 and my dad gave me $50 to spend at the mall. So I wandered into a gift shop and spent it all on an electronic vibrating oinking pink pig. I never played with it after I brought it home. Tried to return it, only to be offered store credit. Got wasted and started ordering ninja gear off of Amazon and forgot about it until it showed up like a week later. Swords, nunchucks, a suit and mask. Most expensive dumb thing. A Mercedes 500 cell. Literally bankrupt myself buying parts and gas for that freaking land yacht. Sold it for half what I paid and felt lucky to be rid of it. Dumbest dumb thing. A metallic gold laden painting of a Pontiac Firebird. It uses white trash, and I had planned on putting it in a family gift exchange as a joke, but didn't end up going, and got stuck with it. It's currently hanging in a storage room, like all classy paintings do. When I was 19, I got a construction job that paid fairly well. Stupid me got all hot and horny for a fun car. I signed up for a 5-year loan after test driving the first one. I ended up having engine failure almost 2 years later. Because it was a used car and from a shady used car dealer. The warranty was well expired. I couldn't afford to get a new engine for it, so I ended paying over 3 years for a car that I wasn't driving. Big wedding, all that money, cold helped so many problems we had later. Divorced anyway. The 500 cat toys in my house. My cat will never play with any of them, yet I get tricked into buying them when I go into the pet store. Why? Why do you do this to me? ShamWow. I mean, it's got sham right there in the name. But I wanted to support Vince from ShamWow's crusade against Scientology. This past Christmas Eve I was doing some last minute shopping and came across a wine glass shaped like Buddy from the movie Elf, which of course also had Will Ferrell's face on it. With everything kinda being out of order with the holiday rush, I didn't know how much it cost. But I bought it on pure impulse because I thought it was funny. It wasn't until I left the store and looked at the receipt did I realize that it cost $22, which is way more than it's worth. To remind me of my mistake, I now drink out of that glass exclusively and have been for the past 5 months. I have to wash it like twice a day, but I won't stop using it until I feel like I've gotten my $22 worth. I bought a cat eye stencil off Amazon that's supposed to help with liquid eyeliner application. Because my hands are shaky as frick. Didn't check the reviews. It's a crappy piece of plastic shaped like a cat that breaks really easy. Apparently. I wouldn't know. I bought it a week ago wasted, and it's shipping from China with an estimated arrival of July 27th. Edit. Literally saved every bit of advice for my attempts tomorrow. Thanks all. A Himalayan salt lamp. Useless. But aesthetically pleasing. Got that inflatable dinosaur costume. Wore it once around my campus and now I forgot where it is. My friends and I randomly decided to get into paintballing one year. My first visit to a paintball shop. I apparently felt like flexing my brand new I have a job and no bills because I live with my parents' income. So I dropped about $400 on a paintball gun that looked like an AK-47, the way a Nerf pistol looks like a Glock. We did a few practice fights with each other, then went to a paintball field that weekend. The bell rang. The fight started. I ran out, aimed at a guy, gun jammed, and I got shot in the head, just above the part my mask was covering. That gun never fired again, and I ended up replacing it with a cheap Tipman 98 Custom, which as far as I understand, is the vanilla sherbet of paintball guns. It worked. But we stopped paintballing forever after like 2 months. So I guess the second gun was also one of the dumbest things I spent money on. Connie 2012. Oh man, is it Connie 2012? I bought my oldest a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Gifts for my mother. She complains every single time. Shampoo. I'm bald. My quarantine shopping recently led to me purchasing a manatee-shaped tea infuser. Boxes. I never save them and toss them in recycling. Well, moving time came around and I was in need of many boxes. So I spent more money than I would like to admit of cardboard and bubble wrap. A tiny alarm clock. Smaller than my hand. It actually functions pretty well though. So it's a good travel alarm. As long people don't get suspicious about the ticking noise coming from your bag. Also a great way to hide the sound of the bomb inside your bag. $10 sign plus delivery fee for a $6-8 meal. I absolutely loved her, but the Great Dane I had was dumb. I'm talking so freaking irredeemably dumb that she would regularly smash face first into walls chasing flies and run right into a closed door, not see through, when I asked if she needed to go out. She was a sweet loving good girl. The Uber Eats delivery fee for an entire dozen cookies from Great American Cookie. I live less than half a mile away, but I was lazy and I wanted those goddamn cookies at like 10 PM. They were glorious and I don't want to think about the calories I consumed that night. Cigarettes. Smoke free 4 years. Alcohol. Sober 28 years. Bumpits. This thing Susan Sumrus was pitching on QVC at 3 AM 15 years ago to help avoid getting wrinkles on your face. I was up all crazy hours with a newborn at the time, so a bit delirious. It was some electrical impulse mini machine for approximate $150. Susan looked fantastic and said she hadn't ever had plastic surgery and had just used this little machine on her face her whole life. I believed it, spent the money, and when it arrived 3 weeks later I never even took it out of the box to use it. Priority shipping during COVID quarantine. I just wanted to see if it would arrive, but I'm still waiting on that order I placed in early March. I once bought my girlfriend a hat and had her name embroidered on it. She asked me if I would ever wear a shirt with my name on it. I would not. My ex. This year I paid $60 for a Shrek action figure wearing an Aska racing suit at a thrift store. In-app purchases. I once blew $1,000 on a mobile game. Paid $59 on a strapless adhesive bra. Edit. This is not really a bra, but more like two silicone cups with a sticky side. Most of those are worth $10.20. Mine was really sticky, but it offers absolutely no support, so it makes the bra absolutely pointless. Frick you, La Senza. Expensive bras for a cheap quality. I bought a Kirby vacuum. They got me hook, line, and sinker. I've wasted money before, but this is one thing I always go back to, and I'm actually ashamed of. Like, I fell for their whole sales pitch. It was like $2,500 for a damn vacuum. I was on a payment plan for a vacuum. They have a shampooer attachment. It blows as a shampooer. You can take the handle off, and you sit on the stairs. It's still fkin heavy and annoying. It has a transmission that makes it easier to go across the carpet, but when it decides not to play nice, it takes like 8 times the effort to get a room done. Oh, and the way the attachments works is a whole annoying ordeal. Please, for the love of everything holy and pure, go to Walmart and get a vacuum. You can replace a lot of carpet for what one of those Kirby abominations will cost you. Edit. Not Kirby, the fun-loving pink bubble from Nintendo that we all know and love. I spent around $100 on pop figurines. Not the best idea for my savings that year. Edit. Wow. Did not expect lots to have the same view. Thank you, strangers. A sword cane with a snake head on it. The blade wasn't sharp, and I never used it. Just bought it to essentially look cool. Now I can't find it. Edit. As I read the comments, let me update. I bought it from a legitimate and legal magazine. I also bought it, not only because it looked cool, but because I wanted to look cool like Lucius Malfoy's wand cane. I didn't really care that there was a sword in it. Edit 2. Thanks for all the upvotes. I just spent $250 on the 1989 Batmobile Lego set. Arrived today. Part of me is excited to build it. However, the other side just thinks, what are you doing? You're a 27-year-old man spending money on Legos during a pandemic. But still excited to build tomorrow. Edit. Thanks everyone. I didn't know the Lego community was so genuinely nice and supportive. My answer really doesn't fit the question anymore, haha. A Nigerian prince. Still waiting on him though. He can't leave his home because of COVID. I just sunk around $7k in becoming a licensed massage therapist. Had my job a little over a year and was just starting to get pretty solid when suddenly I can no longer touch people or be within 6 feet of them. At least I paid off my student loans in February. One of my closest friends is a radical minimalist and a zero waster. She believes in owning as few things as possible and, as best as she is able, existing outside of consumer culture. She's crazy, but in a lovable way. Anyway, last summer, we lived together in New England, and she decides she needs a new wardrobe and wants to donate her current clothing to purchase 1 or 2 items of clothing she will wear. She wants something really clean and modest, so she's not participating in fast fashion or supporting consumer culture. I figured she'd go for some thrifted simple blouse and skirt or slacks, but no. Oh no. She decided to spend upwards of $150 on a custom recreation of Mariah's Habit from The Sound of Music. None of us thought it was a good idea. It was a black, long sleeve dress, and it was regularly upwards of 90 degrees last summer. She does not heed our warnings. Donates all of her other clothes. She's convinced this dress will change her life. This is what she needs to truly devote herself to the zero waste lifestyle. The dress arrives. She puts it on, and her face immediately crumbles. It fits, but it looks so stupid. It is obviously a costume and is made out of this heavy fabric that is wildly impractical to wear. She can't return it because it's custom. And I'd like to reiterate, she donated all of her other clothes, but she's unwilling to wear it from the shame. She spends the rest of the summer wearing nothing but pajamas and borrowed clothes. Thankfully, she's started growing out of that particular brand of insanity. She now owns like 5 outfits, I think, but I don't think I'll ever see someone waste their money like that ever again. A $4,500 cryochiller that broke down after a month of use. Story of my grandmother. No offense to Christians. She spent big money for a tiny bottle of dirt. Apparently, Jesus stood on that dirt. Not me, but a distant relative and his wife, both in their 70s, sent a certain African prince several $1,000s to ensure a shipment of 45 kilograms of gold he was receiving. He promised to triple their money once he got it. He gave no reason to why specifically they were chosen for it. They didn't think it was a good idea to tell anyone else about this wonderful opportunity they were getting, as they weren't worried we would try to take their money from them or get a share of it. I bought like a $100 USD Raichu holographic / Japanese Team Rocket Pokemon card when I was maybe 8, 10, using my allowance for it. I never played Pokemon, just collected the cards because they looked cool. I still get teased from my family 15 plus years later. Cigarettes. A piano. Dumb, stupid, costly and near worthless. But the ex-wife wanted a real piano for the kids because they would then practice on it. Bullcrap. $3,500 for the piano. $4,000 in lessons. All for teaching them to hate playing the piano. I bought the hats and beards, and my buddy got the church warden pipes. We had monthly hats, beards, and pipes gatherings in Afghanistan. We were bored and would spend about $300 monthly on this crap. First month was Gandalf. Second was Lincoln. A tank top that was supposed to make me look not fat. Paid like $10 for those tiny rubber hand things. I bought my first stick shift not knowing how to drive a stick shift. Good morning after I bought it. I tried to start it up and could not do so. I called the mechanic and he was going to charge $200. I told him that was fair, I have no idea what's going on. He got in, stepped on the clutch and started the car. He charged me $100. Secondly, I had an old breaker panel in my childhood home, one of the breakers tripped. I thought they fixed the problem and went to the panel to trip the breaker back, but nothing changed. I was also in a weird place in life and so really wasn't paying attention. But when the electrician showed up he still charged $100 just pushing that breaker a little bit further than I did. An ungodly amount of leek skins. In elementary a kid called me pale, so I went to Walmart and bought spray tan. My dad thought it was sunblock. My sister knew what it was, but didn't say anything cause she was just gonna sit back and watch how this plays out. I went in and out of the bathroom multiple times that day, continuously reapplying before my sister decided it was time to tell my dad. I went through half the can in a day and was more orange than a Oompa Loompa. My buddy and I decided to saran wrap another friend's car shut. Mind you, this was 1999. Do you have any idea how much saran wrap $37 buys you in 1999? My buddy's parents are still using the leftovers to this day. I don't know why, but I bought a single cough drop and an empty pencil lead case from one of my friends for $5. I just bought 1 square foot in Scotland, so I can legally be called a lord. True story. I, an unemployed, completely broke part-time college student, had to pay $300 to my college for a class called computer literacy. In addition to this, and the coronavirus pandemic, I had to pay an additional $100 for an online service that replicates Microsoft Word, even though I already have it. This class is necessary for me to take for me to get my degree. Now I know what you're thinking, everyone should know how to work a computer. This is a good thing. This is true, and I completely agree. However, if you were in grammar school anytime after the year 1994 you have already learned the $400 information my school is deeming necessary before 5th grade. This class highlighted topics including, and narrowly limited to, how to plug in a USB, how to use word art on Microsoft Word, how to insert a table into Microsoft Word, how to change font size and color. My final exam took me 15 minutes, and the assignment was to create a flyer with a colorful, centered word art title and a page border, something I've known how to do since age 7 and have yet to use in the 14 years following this knowledge. In this day and age you can just Google how to use Microsoft. I definitely didn't have to pay $400 for this. TLDR, thanks college for putting me $400 more into debt to teach me information I and my peers have known for almost 15 years. Xanax. I want to remember crap and be in control. My cat. She's the sweetest girl in the world. And I spent so much goddamn money on her to make her happy and feed her good food. But good lord, she is dumb as crap. She got stuck in a cardboard box today. It didn't close. She just didn't know how to back up, and it was too narrow to turn around in. My Steam library. 80% unplayed. My family visited Colorado when I was 10, and I saw a statue of Mosquito in a gift shop with the word "State Bad" on the bottom, and begged my parents for it. We now have a rather large Mosquito statue on our piano. HMM. A paddleboard. I seldom actually make it out to the beach lately, especially currently, and when I bring it, I'm twitching with paranoia if I leave it on my car, because someone may steal it. Should have just kept renting. Cannon. $150. Attaches in place of the barrel to an R-15. And can launch full 12-ounce cans almost 100 yards. It also shoots golf balls. Outrageous fun. But utterly pointless. Exists only to destroy dollar store brand beverages. 10/10ths would buy again. Google Glass. App Exons. College Board fricked up the Exons this year. Frick College Board. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on the PlayStation 3, biggest scam of my life. Very expensive meals. Very expensive hotels. And overall things I bought where I didn't read the fine print. Once, at Disneyland, I was getting dinner with family in the park, and I paid almost $70 for a, supposedly, vegan meal. I even asked the waiter if the dish didn't have dairy allergy, and he said it was completely dairy free. When I got my dish, I took a couple bites. Before I went, my throat started to close up. The employees were very kind and offered a refund for the dinner. What a great night. Yeti cooler. Slightly better than a Coleman and 60 times price. Probably all the money I paid running up bar tabs, like $50 plus in lifts to get home, just so I could feel like crap in the morning. I bought The Secret on DVD. I was at the Russian exhibit at Expo 86. My parents gave me a $20 bill and said spend $10. I bought $20 worth of Russian newspapers. To this day I still don't know what the flying frick I was thinking. GTA V. Firstly, I've bought the game 3 times. Xbox 360, Xbox One and PC. Then I spent way too much on shark cards. Like, I couldn't even begin to try and add up how much I've spent. Not me, but I sold a kid that was twice my age some gravel for €1 as a 3Y/0. His mom was angry as hell. A custom exhaust on a 2003 Ford Focus. I bought the wrong size shoes online because I forgot what size I actually was. I spent $5 on a book about Minecraft Steve farting as a gag gift for my brother, so probably that. Our wedding. Though we didn't spend a ton of money, what we did spend could have been used elsewhere, like a trip or part of down payment on a house. Weddings are just consumerism at its finest, spending a ton of money for one day. I went on a cross-country car trip with my family when I was 17. We hit Nashville, Tennessee heading out, and I knew we were going to be going through it again on the way back home. While browsing through a store, I saw this hat. It was a black mesh top hat with red flowers and fake beads on it. It was used and dusty and I absolutely had to have it. But we were near the beginning of the trip and I only had $50 spending money, so I didn't want to waste my money buying a hat. But I didn't stop thinking about it, and when we got back to Nashville, I'd saved $10. I went into the store and I bought this dusty, used, stupid hat. I was so happy I wore it every day for the rest of the trip. The day after we got home, my dog chewed it to shreds.